Well, hello, friends. Thank you and welcome back to another episode of Intentional Living with Emlah Podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far and you are living each day with intention. Today, something has been on my mind, and I've always wanted to talk about one of the most underrated tools in your health routine. If you have wanted to be able to bring down your health routine to a small actionable point that can make the biggest impact, this episode is for you. You want to listen in for the next few minutes, and I'm going to tell you one of those things that we have missed. Everybody and their father and their mother, sister, and auntie are taking a multivitamin. But I think that if we were to replace this, instead of a multivitamin, if everyone just increased their fiber intake, we would be in a much better place. So if you've been ever curious about fiber, this episode is for you. From your gut to the glow of your skin to your brain cells, fiber is foundational. Fiber is not optional in my mind. And fiber is not just for digestion, because I know when I said fiber, everybody goes gut health, digestion, stool, gut motility and things like that. Fiber is for longevity. It is one of the simplest and most powerful tools that we have in healthcare. And yet it is one of the most underutilized. I'm going to ask you a question. In the USA, what percent of people do you think consume adequate fiber per day? That percent is 5. Only 5% of the US consumes the recommended amount of fiber per day. And for fiber, it ranges from like 25 grams per day to like 38 grams per day from women to like men. So as a woman, you're supposed to be consuming about 25 grams of total soluble and insoluble fiber per day. If you're a man, around 38. So think about that. Only 5% of the population consumes enough fiber. So 95% of us are walking around here consuming less fiber than we should be consuming for the day. When we talk about supplements, we talk about weight loss, we talk about energy, but then we skip all the foundation. And that foundation, if your gut isn't supported, nothing else performs optimally. You know the common saying, they say, how do they say this thing about Vegas? What happened in Vegas stays in Vegas, but what happened in the gut doesn't stay in the gut, my friends. What happens in the gut goes throughout your body. It shows in your brain. It shows in your skin. Fiber is really non-digestible carbohydrates that feed your gut. So just think about it. There are 2 types of fiber. You hear people talk about soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Well, soluble fiber, when it gets in your gut, it absorbs water and forms like a gel-like formation, a gel-like substance. And that helps to reduce cholesterol levels. That helps to blunt blood sugar spikes. You've heard people say, eat your broccoli before you eat your vegetables, before you eat your carbohydrates. That's because of the fiber in the vegetables that reduces your blood sugar spikes. That fiber helps to reduce cholesterol. That fiber helps to manage satiety, making you feel fuller for longer. But insoluble fiber, on the other hand, supports regularity, like your gut movement and things like that, gut motility. So fiber is not just about going to the bathroom, it's about feeding the gut bacteria. So because if you think about the prebiotics that your probiotics and your microbiome, the bacteria in your gut eat, they eat the fiber. So if you're taking a probiotic, you're spending your hard-earned money buying a probiotic, and you're not putting fiber-rich foods on your plate, you're wasting your money. This podcast is sponsored by Journeys, your path to intentional wellness. Are you feeling fatigue, brain fog, low energy levels, and suspicion of inflammation? Most health problems don't start overnight, and neither does wellness. With Journeys, you can take charge of your health before you have to. Every cell in your body is whispering to you. But when we ignore preventive medicine, we wait until those cells are screaming. Journeys helps you listen to the whispers. There are 3 different lab test bundles to choose from. Starting at $199 up to $479, we measure up to 125 biomarkers, most that are typically not measured at your annual wellness visit. Normal labs is not a diagnosis. We get the most complete view, including hormones, nutrient markers that support energy, balance, and healthy aging. Each journey includes a personalized recommendation, one-on-one care from your pharmacist, and follow-up support to turn results into lasting intentional change. It's more than data. It's guidance, accountability, and a partner in your wellness journey. Intentional living means paying attention,
staying curious, and taking steps towards the health you deserve. Start your journeys today. Click the link in the show notes.
You might as well not just take the probiotic. But if you're taking a probiotic, you have to make it a point of duty. Food first, my friends. Put fiber-rich foods on your plate. So we're not talking about just how you show up in life and with this one type of fiber, just the soluble or the insoluble. It's always good to eat whole nutrient-dense foods, putting on your plate so you get the soluble and the insoluble fiber. So as a country, we can look at those statistics of 95% of us not consuming enough fiber, like we're failing. But I rather think of it like we're drifting away from how the body was designed to be nourished. So instead of chasing perfection, let's try to just add a fiber-rich food to our diet. Add a vegetable, add lentils, add chia seeds, add flax seeds, add oats. So just add these foods to every meal. Figure out a way to increase the fiber content of every meal. You're not going to sit down at one go and take the 25 grams of fiber. But the best way is to sprinkle this fiber throughout your 3 meals of the day. Snack on foods that have high fiber. Think of lentils. My favorite trick to increase fiber content in my day is raspberries. Did you know that raspberries are the fruit with like the highest fiber? A thing of raspberries, one serving of raspberries has 8 grams of fiber. Think of raspberries like the lentils of the vegetables. So with lentils have high significant amount of fiber. Lentils, beans, chickpeas, and I cannot emphasize how much you can change the nutritional value of a salad by just throwing some chia seeds, some lentils on it, or some chickpeas on it, or some few raspberries. You just more than double the amount of fiber that you're getting. So supplements do not replace foundation, even though they reinforce it. And this is where Emlah Naturals come into play. You know, in the ideal world, we will be eating the most fiber-rich diet. But we have proven that is not the case, because with our busy lifestyles, you wake up in the morning, I'm trying to get the kids ready because I have to drop them at school, and then I have to go to work, and then I have all the things to do in the day, and then the nutrient-dense food gets pushed to the back. What we need to do is consciously remind ourselves, when I go to the grocery store, I hit the produce aisle, I pick up fiber-rich foods, I make sure that my cart at every single time has fiber-rich foods in it. So that way my refrigerator at home has fiber-rich foods. In my smoothie cabinet, I have the protein powder, I have a fiber powder, I have the Emlah Naturals fiber powder, which I'm going to put a link in the show notes. This has 11 grams of soluble and insoluble fiber put together. And this just already augments how much fiber. And it tastes so good too, because it is kiwi flavored. So I made a smoothie the other day and I added a scoop of the fiber in there. And Timcha goes, "Mom, what did you put in here? Did you put sugar in it?" I'm like, "Why would I put sugar in a smoothie?" And I said, "It's the fiber." He goes, "Never make my smoothie without the fiber powder anymore. I love it." And I was like, I felt so good. I just have him having his protein and additional fiber, even though there was spinach and kale and pineapple, blueberries and strawberries in his smoothie. He had 2 tablespoons of chia seeds in there as well. So that's an easy way. I promise you, moms, the children will not taste the chia seeds. Put it in the smoothie, blend it, they will not taste it. It significantly increases how much fiber they're getting. And I also want to remind you that we think about antidepressants. Let me just bear with me for a moment. Listen to this. I think of an antidepressant. As a pharmacist, I dispense antidepressants every day. Sertraline, fluoxetine, the Zoloft, the Prozac, and all the things. These antidepressants, the majority of antidepressants which are dispensed are called SSRIs. That's a big scientific term for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. That's what, sertraline, fluoxetine, all these things are. Think about it in this way. These are trying to preserve the little serotonin that we have to make us feel better about ourselves. So think about that serotonin. The SSRI, the antidepressant that we're taking, is helping us hold on to that serotonin, the synapse, for a little longer. So we feel better about ourselves for a little longer because the serotonin is there. But think about it. Do you know what percent of serotonin is produced in your gut? Take a guess before I tell you. 90% of your body's serotonin is produced in your gut, my friends. 90%. So think about it. Not just taking the antidepressant to hold on to the little serotonin that we have. What if we took probiotics and we fed ourselves with enough fiber for our gut to produce more serotonin? Wouldn't that be a great help to our brain? Wouldn't that be a great help to how we feel about ourselves? So that's why they say you are what you eat. You put these fiber-rich foods on your plate. You take a probiotic, which I'm going to put a link to the Emlah Naturals probiotic that has 20 billion colony forming units in the show notes. And you put all of that together and your body gets to produce your good microbiomes, your good bacteria in your gut get to produce more serotonin in order for us to feel better. So fiber is not a trend, my friends. It's a return to what the body always needed. And if you want better energy, digestion, mood, and long-term health, start with fiber. I hope you learned something today in this episode and share it with somebody who you think should need more fiber in their diet. And that is 95% of the people in your life who are deficient in fiber. Thank you very much and continue to live each day with gratitude and intention.